Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to discuss how to balance equations. So I have a chemical equation here. AgI, you know this is a capital I because there are no elements that have a three-letter symbol. So after the A and the G, we know this has to be a new element. So that's a capital I. AgI, silver iodide, plus Na2S, sodium sulfide, yields silver sulfide, Ag2S, plus sodium iodide, NaI. We're going to balance things using the RAP method. The RAP method stands for reactants, atoms, and products. We're going to start out by making our RAP chart. R-A-P. Atoms means all of the different atoms, all of the different elements that we find within this problem, within this equation. So we are going to write down Ag, silver, I, iodide, Na, sodium, and S, sulfur. And you'll notice I only wrote down the atoms on the reactant side. That's because we have the exact same atoms on the product side. Nothing can just appear out of nowhere. Anything on the product side has to show up on the reactant side first. Nothing disappears, all right? Everything that's on the reactant side has to show up on the product side. Now let's look at the numbers of each that we have on each side. We have one atom of silver on the reactant side. We have two atoms of silver on the product side. We have one atom of iodine on the reactant side, one on the product side. We have two atoms of sodium on the reactant side. We have one atom of sodium on the product side. We have one atom of sulfur on the reactant side, and we have one atom of sulfur on the product side. Now we're going to start balancing our equation. We have two silvers on the product side, but we need two silvers on the reactant side. The way I do that, I can't just add a silver. I have to find the molecule that has silver in it and multiply that by a number that this number also goes into. In this case, 1 and 2 both go into 2. So I'm going to put a 2 here. As soon as I do that, I notice that just multiplied my iodine by 2 as well. So I now have 2 iodine atoms. All right, now I need 2 iodine atoms on my product side. I'm going to find the compound that has iodine in it. I'm going to multiply that by 2. As soon as I do that, my iodine got multiplied by 2 and my sodium got multiplied by 2. But it turns out that's a good thing because I needed 2 of those. I believe everything is now balanced. So let's double check. 2 silvers on this side, 2 silvers on this side. 2 iodines on this side, 2 iodines on this side. 1 sodium on this side, 2 sodiums, I'm so sorry, that's not 1 sodium, I missed my subscript. 2 sodiums on this side, 2 sodiums on this side. 1 atom of sulfur on this side and 1 atom of sulfur on that side. Okay, so remember your subscripts, don't fall into the trap that I did. Another problem people run into is people want to do all of their balancing down here on the RAP chart. And if you noticed, when I needed to multiply something, I wrote that up here in the equation first. A lot of times what happens is people want to do all of the multiplication down here, and then when they're finished, they have a blank equation, and now they don't know which numbers to put where. If you make certain that you always start by writing the numbers in the equation, you won't run into that problem. One last piece of advice I have for you, leave hydrogen for last. Hydrogen is often found by itself on either the reactant side or the product side. So if you leave hydrogen until the end, it's easy to balance because when you balance something by it, an element off by itself, it doesn't affect anything else within a compound. If you're doing polyatomic ions in an equation, if they stay together on both sides, then treat that polyatomic ion like an atom. And so, you know, if this was sulfate, if we had SO4 on both sides, then go ahead and just write it as SO4 in your RAP chart. That will keep things a lot easier. This is how to balance simple equations. I hope this helps.